Zookeeper? Now, Zookeeper is a coordination service. Rather, it's a distributed coordination service. Any application and every application which runs on top of Hadoop goes by default that it is a distributed application. That is, it is capable of running over a distributed set of machines, set of nodes. Now, before we get into the thick of things, let's start with an introduction. Writing distributed applications is hard because you have a particular condition known as partial failure which steps in. What's partial failure? If there is any communication between two nodes, say one node is a sender, the other one is a receiver, and assume that the sender has sent the message, and suddenly your network fails. In this case, you are left with two options. I mean, two things might have happened. Either whatever you've sent was actually delivered, but just that you don't know because your network failed, or you have sent it, but the failure happened even before it was actually sent from your system, even before it was actually sent from your system, meaning which the sending was a failure. So you actually don't know whether whatever you've sent is a success or a failure at the receiving end, unless and until you connect to the receiver after some time when your network is up. You connect to the receiver and then ask it. So till the time there is a reconnection happening between the sender and the receiver, you cannot know whether whatever you've done is a success or a failure. Now this is partial failure, when we don't even know if an operation failed or not. So in the absence of Zookeeper, such things can happen easily. Okay, we are talking about name nodes, data nodes, communications, heartbeats and all those things, right? So it's like assume that traditional SMS services, short messaging services, you send a message and then you have an option of delivery reports. If you keep your delivery reports on, immediately you'll get to know whether that particular message has been received by the receiver or not. So it's the same phenomenon. Now, Zookeeper can't make partial failures go away. It is impossible. We're not talking about a solution which would eradicate this problem. No, because they are so much intrinsic to the distributed systems. Okay. So when you talk about distributed systems, there are a set of flaws which come along with it. You cannot do anything with it. So Zookeeper does not hide partial failures. But what Zookeeper does do is to give you a set of tools to build distributed applications so that they can safely handle partial failure. You have a lot of things which are loosely bound to each other. HDFS and MapReduce, they are not a part of single project. They are different projects. So the bonding between these two applications are not that great. So, you know, to make tightly coupled or closely coupled, you have something called a Zookeeper. It's like a wrapper which wraps all these things in a closed manner. Let's discuss what the features of Zookeeper are. Zookeeper has the following characteristics. Zookeeper is simple, Zookeeper is replicated, Zookeeper is ordered, and Zookeeper is fast. Now let's see what each and every point has in store. Zookeeper is simple. Zookeeper allows distributed processes to coordinate with each other through a shared hierarchical namespace, which is organized similarly to a standard file system. So it basically has its own file system. If you see your Hadoop, say architecture, Zookeeper would be running on a set of machines, not just one machine, but a set of machines which are replicated, internally replicated. Okay. A Zookeeper allows distributed processes to coordinate with each other through a shared hierarchical namespace, which is organized similarly to a standard file system. The namespace consists of data registers called Z-nodes. I'll tell you what Z-nodes are. These are similar to files and directories. Unlike a typical file system which is designed for storage, Zookeeper data is kept in memory, meaning which Zookeeper can achieve high throughput and low latency numbers. Zookeeper is replicated. Like the distributed processes it coordinates, whenever I talk about distributed processes, you can take for granted that it is HDFS, Pig, Hive, HBase, MapReduce, everything. Okay. So like the distributed processes it coordinates, Zookeeper itself is intended to be replicated over a set of hosts called as an ensemble. Okay. It does not just only coordinate all these individual services, but it also replicates its own coordination service. The servers that make up Zookeeper service must all know about each other. Okay, it's like a group of masters. Okay, you have 5 or 7 or 3 or 1, not just one, 3 or 5 or 7 or 9 servers in a group, all are masters and they have replicated copies of each other. They maintain an in-memory image of state along with the transaction logs and snapshots in a persistent store. As long as the majority of the servers are available, the Zookeeper service would be available. Meaning which, how do you get a majority? You get a majority only if you use odd numbers as the number of servers. So Zookeeper works best in 3 and 5. Okay, why? Because it survives on majority. As long as the majority of servers are up and running, the Zookeeper service is available. Okay, now if you have just 4 servers, okay, and 2 are down, 1 is down, it will still run. If 2 is down, then it won't run. Why? Because if 2 is down, then 2 are running and 2 is not a majority here. 2 down and 2 up, 2 is not a majority here, it is equal. So we basically go for odd numbers. Assume that I have 5 servers. 1 is down, 4 are up, majority. So still it keeps running. Now assume 2 are down. So 2 are down, 3 are up. So still it keeps running. So the next step is what we call failure of Zookeeper, because when 3 are down and 2 are up, 3 is majority. So the Zookeeper won't be working. As long as the majority of the servers are available, the Zookeeper service would be available. Okay, so here you go. There is one diagram here. This is your Zookeeper service. Okay, so basically I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, I have an odd number. Okay. Now what I do here is that I have all are masters. Okay, there is no master slave architecture in Zookeeper. All are masters. Just that in my list of masters, I'm assigning one particular server as the leader. Now clients connect to a single Zookeeper service. Hadoop is location conscious, so you would basically be redirected to the closest server location. Okay. The client maintains a TCP connection through which it sends requests, gets responses, gets watch events and sends heartbeats. Now let me explain to you the whole system, you have all your ecosystem this side, guys. You have HDFS here, you have MapReduce here. I'm not drawing it in a sequential way just to fill this gap. You have Pig here, you have Hive here, you have HBase here and whatnot. All the services you have here. Now for a client, he actually does not directly interact with those services. So basically you guys don't interact directly. Rather you go through a medium called a Zookeeper. Okay. So this Zookeeper guy, what he basically does is that he runs odd number of servers. In my case it's 5. Okay. Now this, you're all clients, you interact with any of the server. All servers have the same data at any point of time. A client connects to a single Zookeeper server. The client maintains a TCP connection through which it sends requests, gets responses, gets watch events and sends heartbeats. So whatever we've been discussing till now, basically there's an intermediate layer called as Zookeeper. If the TCP connection to the server breaks, the client will connect to a different server. Note that all servers are masters and all would be having the same data. Now in Zookeeper, we have only one leader. If you want to just read through data, fine. Any server is fine for you. I mean, you want to connect to this server and access the whole of the architecture, yes, you can do it, not a problem. But if you want to write data, then internally what happens is this server acts as a slave to this guy. This guy is the leader. So this guy would basically ask this guy, boss, this guy wants to write data. The client wants to write data. So what do I do? So he says, the leader says, okay, if it is about writing data, then redirect to me. So it goes here and then you write the data. So reading happens from any server across, but writing happens only through one server. Yes, multiple master, yes. So that is what we're talking about, right? Even this is master, this is master, this is master, this is master, this is master. Though it slightly differs from that multiple master which you read, and this is kind of different, but yes, multiple master is the same thing. The third point, Zookeeper is ordered. Zookeeper stamps each update with a number that reflects the order of all Zookeeper transactions. Subsequent operations can use the order to implement higher level abstractions such as synchronization primitives. I'll tell you what this slide was all about. Assume how the data flows. In the first stage you have HDFS. From your HDFS, you are picking out your data and then you are aggregating it. Or assume I'm taking data from two sources in HDFS, two different sources in HDFS. I'm doing some aggregation. Post my aggregation, I'm sending it to another level of filtration, say primary key checks. After this, I'm sending for another data cleansing level where I'm checking my date format and all those things. Post this, I'm storing it in my another directory in HDFS itself, and from there, I'm storing it into my HBase. This is a practical thing. We all do this. Okay. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is, when as a client you want to do all these things, you cannot directly contact anybody in this process. You have to get in touch with the Zookeeper. Okay, I told you it's like a wrapper. Okay, so you only have to go through it. Now the Zookeeper promises you that whatever you command, that is whatever you are told, it happens in an order. Zookeeper promises that it takes care of all these things internally. That Zookeeper is ordered. Zookeeper is fast. It is especially fast in read dominant workloads. Zookeeper applications run on thousands of machines and performs best when reads are more common than writes at the ratios of around 10:1. Now this is what we've been telling it since the beginning, right? Reads should be more than writes. Any ratio which is equal to or above the ratio of 10:1 would be good. Let's see the data model and the namespace. Unlike its standard file systems, each node in a Zookeeper namespace can have data associated with it as well as children. It is like having a file system that allows a file to also be a directory. It's simple. Now we are talking about the namespace in the Zookeeper. We had discussed that Zookeeper would have certain data in memory. It's not in the hard disk, but in memory, in the RAM. It stores some data in the RAM. Some data. What data? I have not told you till now. Okay. So for now, assume that some data is stored. And how is it stored? We are talking about the namespace. So we basically have a file system that allows it to act as a file as well as a directory. Zookeeper was designed to store coordination data. So but some data is basically coordination data. What the data contains is, it contains the status information, the configuration, the location information, etc. So the data stored at each node is usually in small bytes or kilobytes. We use the term Z-node to make it clear that we are talking about Zookeeper data nodes. Zookeeper Z-nodes maintain a stack structure that includes version numbers for data changes and ACL, that is access control list, that is who all can access the Hadoop environment, and timestamps to allow cache validations and coordination updates. Each time a Z-node's data changes, the version number increases. For instance, whenever a client retrieves data, it also receives the version of the data. This is the hierarchy as to how it stores some small files, some coordination data in its in-memory. Okay, you have the root folder, that is slash. Next you have .zoo folder. Okay, inside your .zoo folder you have /zoo, /duck, /zoo, /goat and /zoo, /cow. So here you can assume that it is /zoo, /pig. So for pig it creates one folder, for hive it creates another folder, and for MapReduce or whatever component it creates another folder, and so on and so forth. Okay, so basically all your configuration files are split into namespaces like this. Okay, so pig will have a file, a separate namespace where it will contain the configuration, the heartbeats information, and all those things. Okay, so the data stored at each Z node, this is called a Z node. Why are we calling it Z node? Because why are we calling it a Z node? Because we are differentiating it from the other data nodes or the name nodes which we have used, the terminology. The data stored at each Z node in a namespace is read and written atomically. Okay. Now once a particular set is created, it is sent across the other replications. This is here one replication, I'm sending it to another replication this side. Same goes this way also. Replication and another replication. Okay, now it is read atomically. What does the word atomically mean? It means that either the whole of the information is transferred here completely at one shot. There is nothing like 90% copied and 10% missed. Nothing of that sort. It's either copied in full or not copied at all. So you can be assured that whatever data you've got is pakka data, is proper data. There is no chance, there is no scope of data being corrupt or data being missed. It is either copied in full or not copied at all. That is called atomically or atomicity. Okay, so all reads and writes happen atomically, meaning which you either read Zookeeper data. It's for a client also, guys. It's not just between your Zookeeper servers. It is even for a client. You either get access to zoo/zoo/pig or /zoo/hive folder completely, or you don't get access at all. It's not like I have read some 20%, another 80% while reading the network got disconnected. No, it does not happen that way. So it reads get all the data bytes associated with the Z node, and the write replaces all the data. Each node has an ACL, access control list, that restricts who can do what. So it's basically maintaining a permissions file wherein this client can do that, this client cannot do this. So read, write, execute properties. So these Z nodes exists as long as the session that created the Z node is active. When the session ends, the Z node is